This week's episode of the Don Hollywood Show. This week's guest is one of my close personal friends, M. Downs. She is a model, influencer, singer and songwriter, line dancer, line dance choreographer, and we may have done a line dance together, which I'm sure we will talk about in today's episode. Am I missing anything about you? Because you do so much.
No, I don't think so. I
Okay.
think you covered that one. I'd say all my hobbies, all my trades.
Now, what is the most fun thing out of all those that you enjoy doing the most?
That's a loaded question.
Hey, we got an hour to talk. Hit me with it.
Um, so the thing I'm most passionate about, I would say, is actually music.
Okay.
But as far as like what I like to do, um, mainly is probably influencing and like social media. I think social media has like a very special place in my heart because I started pretty young. So I don't know.
Ooh, what age did you start and on which platform?
So I started YouTube actually
Oh.
very young. I started like when I was like 12. And yeah, probably shouldn't have been on YouTube at that age. I don't know.
There wasn't anything bad on the internet then.
Yeah, no, YouTube was weird at the time. But I had started YouTube and then went through like middle school, did it that, and then in high school I really started, pushing it. But then I just completely stopped and was like, I can't do this because like once I went to college, I tried. But YouTube takes a lot of time and I kind of stopped doing that. But I would say that social media and that aspect of like YouTube and things like is what I really like to do because I like the editing part. I'm a real
Okay.
big tech nerd. So
All right. And what kind of videos were you doing at 12?
what's on my iPhone, what's in my purse, like I would do unboxings. I think so that's why I get like really excited now as an adult getting like, the
Hmm.
random
Was this like the
unboxings.
iPhone 1 at the time?
Yeah, literally. It was I'm pretty sure like the seven. So
Okay.
yeah.
That's awesome. At what point did you start getting a following and what point did it start becoming like a business for you?
So at the end of college.
Okay.
So I started line dancing like really heavily in college. And then that's when I started like posting on TikTok. And that is actually what grew my following. And especially on TikTok, on Instagram, it didn't start popping off till I'll be honest, like a year ago. I was like, oh, okay. Because I didn't really care. I wasn't like trying to get big on anything whatsoever. I wasn't, and then when TikTok kind of like started growing, I was like, oh, like maybe I'll start posting on Instagram, but I didn't post a lot of dancing stuff on Instagram. Like I posted more personal things, more of my actual life. And on TikTok it was strictly dancing for a really long time. So
Yeah. What was the first video that kind of blew you up and got you some followers?
rude dude.
Rude. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was rude dude at Cahoots in Lebanon, Tennessee.
That's a
So
fun one. Now, did you have any dance experience prior to line dancing?
yes. So I did ballet, I did jazz, I was on
Okay.
dance teams, I was doing competitive dancing. But I was really passionate about ballet. And I know Emily was obviously a
Yes.
ballerina, like, and so that was actually really cool to learn about her too, because I was like, I feel that. I was like, and obviously I know she like stopped, and I also as well stopped. And like you grow into like, more adulthood and you're kind of like, well, I still am passionate about it, but it's like, what can I do? And then line dancing comes in your life, you're like, oh my gosh. So that's kind of like what had happened with my life.
So, did you have a friend who suggested going to a line dance bar, or did you, see it online and then want to go try it out?
Um, yes. So this is such a funny question to me, always when people ask me like how long and where and when. Um, so basically at Whiskey Dick's in Murfreesboro, I went to college in Murfreesboro. That was like the first real like country bar. I've been to like Cahoots for like events and things, but I never really like line danced there.
And for those of
And
those listening, everything who don't know, this is in Tennessee.
yes,
Okay.
yes. all in
'Cause
Tennessee.
I kind of
Yeah.
want to, because all the time, and I'm sure you get it too. People are always asking, "Hey, where can I learn to dance?" And so a big point I want to do in this podcast is I'm talking to all of my fellow dancers is kind of let people have an idea of, hey, if you travel to Tennessee, this is where you can go. If you go to California, obviously, I know you're teaching also, so they want to come learn from you in, Nashville, then go learn from you.
Yeah. Yeah, Nashville's like that. Nashville is a crazy animal. So, there's Whiskey Dicks in Murfreesboro, there's Cahoots in Lebanon. But as far as Nashville, there's the Nashville Palace. Now, a lot of people know that Wild Horse Saloon has sadly closed its doors. But there's still Nashville Palace, and that is where I reside now. That's what I would call my home bar.
Mhm.
I work there as well as a Nashville Palace Angel, which is very cool and fun. It's also where we had NDF. So if you know what Nashville Dance Fest is, that is where that is held. And it was a lot bigger this year. And as far as like conventions and things, I would say NDF is like growing. It is, definitely this past time, I would say they have worked out so many good kinks, like, and, really we're good about marketing, first of all. I think the marketing is their highest skill level, actually,
Yeah.
as far as a business goes. So,
Um, why do you think the business is growing so much? Because I feel that too with I feel like line dancing is as hot as it's been right now since I started 6 years ago.
yeah. I think the marketing is because of influencers and like TikTok, honestly, like hands down is what has made these conventions for line dancers as big as it has been. Because you have like, me, you have like a bunch of people, especially just even in Nashville alone, that are have a big platform on TikTok for dancing. But among that, there's people obviously in Florida, California, Arizona. They're all getting together now and have joined, this little community to build some great things. So I think that that's why their marketing has been so well because you have it nationwide.
Yeah. So if you're somebody who hasn't ever gone to them before, what do you enjoy about them and what should people look forward to if they come to a convention?
So I would just say my biggest tip actually about conventions is stay healthy, stay breathing, because they're very busy. I would say that like obviously you're going to be very excited, you're going to be meeting a bunch of people, you're going to be doing this, that, and the other with classes, competitions, but the main focus genuinely should be like literally take time to eat, take time to drink water, take time to take care of yourself first, because that was my main thing when I went to Yes, which is in Arizona in Scottsdale. When me and Wes actually went, my fiance, we just were so drained by the like third day. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get through it, like, and I was trying to compete, and your just mental state is very all over the place that you need to just, calm down for a second and
Yeah.
take time, even if it's just in your hotel room to take like a quick 30-second nap. Like, geez.
I need to nap every day anyways. I'm getting old.
Yeah, yeah.
So at what age did you start singing and songwriting? And yeah, when did that become a passion for you?
So that started, I was genuinely like 5 years old when I first pretty much touched a guitar. My dad had an old one and he had given it to me. I had like one of those like really small kid ones like that you can find at Walmart, but he gave me, his and I started picking and actually, so the songwriting came from writing books as a kid. I was always really
Mm.
passionate about picnic drawing and I've always been really artsy, but I've like, had these little children books that I would like draw and like make stories about. So it's like that's why I'm in my songwriting. I would say I'm more of a storyteller, which is how it should be, I feel like with songs,
I agree. Those are the best songs.
I think my biggest pet peeve, unfortunately, not that I don't love them, but like heartbreak songs, I'm so quite over it right now.
Mm,
Like, especially in country music, I know that's like one of the things that you expect in country music,
yeah.
but I'm like, you have nothing better to talk about. Like, I know that like that's what you're feeling, that's, your emotion, and people can relate to it. But mine was more like, okay, but I want to hear about some real life, like
Yeah.
things
Well, I
other
feel like
than.
that's also the tough part. Is like some of these artists are writing heartbreak songs, but they're married and they post like on their Instagram, like with their wife or significant other. And I'm like, I get it, but I feel like, when we were growing up or, our parents, they didn't see, if Alan Jackson put out a heartbreak song or something,
Yeah.
they didn't see Alan Jackson with his, girlfriend or wife online, the next day after the song comes out.
Right, right.
Like you really could believe that they were heartbroken.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I think, I don't know. I've just been talking to my buddies recently about it. And I'm just like, what if we write together, if we have like a songwriting session, can we maybe not do the whole girl boy thing where like we broke each other's heart? I don't know. Like, I personally am not heartbroken. So I feel like it's really hard for me to write those.
What kind of songs do you want to write about?
I really like ballads. I know it's kind of dark as well, like like murder mystery things,
Oh.
but like that's what my single about Ohio is. And so I'm really passionate about those and just like taking you on a journey kind of deal. But this, Ohio is about a place actually from my high school days back home in Kentucky.
Mm,
And I used to like go by the Ohio River and there was a spot where I would personally just go there to like decompress and like relax. And a lot of my friends would hang out there. But it's about this place where, like, honestly, I couldn't tell you now where it is because it's been so long.
yeah.
But it's kind of hidden, and that's where I kind of got the inspiration from. Oh, well, let's write like a murder story about this person who takes a girl out there and like kills her and then doesn't confess till, years later. I thought that was kind of a cool
That's a deep song.
song. I don't know. It's a little
Absolutely.
deep, and I hate that my mind like went there like when I was writing it, but I was like, no, I really like how the story played out. So
I agree. Well, if you don't make something interesting, then why would anybody care about it?
right.
Yes, gotta have some drama involved.
Yeah.
So when did you start modeling?
So this started also really about a year ago. I didn't, I like modeled, like, you have your friends take pictures and stuff like that. But like when the brand stuff from social media started coming in, and they're like, well, we want pictures in you with you in this and that. That's when it kind of became real. It kind of became like, oh, I need photographers. Like I need friends that, can really take good photos. So, I also did a workshop with Kirsten, Williams. So if you know her, I did one of her workshops where she did, the Western inspo. She had photographers come, models come. You work together and kind of learn about the business and learn about social media and how that can be
Was
beneficial to you.
there, did they give you like a new perspective on it? Was there anything they taught you that you didn't know beforehand and you heard it and you're like, oh, that makes sense. I don't know why I didn't think about that.
In a sense, yes. I think the main thing was build relationships with whoever, the networking
Yeah.
part of that. But also the biggest takeaway from these workshops that I see is that knowing your worth. I think that's the biggest message that a lot of people need to hear because I think right now, especially in the Western industry, as far as social media goes, everybody's kind of trying to do the same things or, not to be a copycat, like, but it's like they need to know who they are
Yeah.
first and be authentic, and really grow their own audience authentically and organically.
Well, I feel like that's
To
tough
get
because you kind of need to follow trends on social media, but then you
yeah,
also can't become a
yeah.
copycat.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I feel like if you look at your audience and know your audience, then you can be your authentic self and know your worth. But also with that, with brands, like you need to know your worth as far as like payment, which is a hard topic. I think a lot of people don't like to talk about. So
Do you want to talk about it?
yeah. So I did not start getting paid with social media till about last year. It
Okay.
was small things here and there. When you think about media kits, people don't really understand that as well. Um, but a media kit is basically where you say, this is who I am, these are my rates, this is what I can offer you, and why you should choose me basically for your company, why we should work together. So with that being said, a lot of people don't like asking for money. That's a hard thing to do, and I get that. I've been there, but I've also learned over the past now working with higher brands that it's
Mhm.
like, that what your worth is.
Yeah.
You know what your videos merit. And so with that being said, I've had to look at my rates and be like, okay, well, like for instance, if a company were to ask me for 8 videos a month, that is completely different than if you're asking for two or three. You know what I mean? And then you get into the photos aspect, but it's
So
mainly
when we talk about like 8 videos, like we're talking about with songs, we're talking about showing off an outfit or boots or
anything really. Like I
anything.
think,
Okay.
yeah, anything. I think The main one that I've seen personally, not to throw a company out there, but it was like they wanted 8 videos and like 10 photos and like so many stories for 800. And I kind of had to be like, I love this company. I want to work with this company, but morally, I cannot take it.
Hmm.
uh, because I know that my videos for, that much with what they were going to use it for when you get into like whitelisting, which is basically where people use your videos for ads. When it
Hmm.
comes to that, that company is going to be making money off you, and you're not going to ever see that for the
Yeah.
most part,
So
unless
no
they're
royalty off of that at all. They're just
no,
paying you just a flat one-time fee. And
right,
then so they want photos also. So now you have to go and pay a photographer to take pictures of you in that also. Or
right,
if you're lucky, maybe you have a friend do an iPhone or you have a friend who
right.
has a nice camera and takes a picture.
Yeah. I bought my own nice camera, and
Okay.
so sometimes like Wes or
Yeah, I'll
whoever
say you just got Wes
boyfriend's
out there taking
available,
photos
yeah.
of me.
Yeah,
Nice.
Wes the photographer. He's
Gotcha. Wow. Okay. So now when you how does your media kit get in front of these companies? Do you have an agency or are you on some sort of app?
um so I basically just use like Canva for my media kit.
Okay.
I basically just set up a template. Like a lot of people have shown me theirs. They're like, hey, like this is my template kind of deal. I know a lot of people are selling their media kit templates, which is very interesting to me.
What do you mean by selling
Um,
it?
So they'll be like, this is my media kit basically, or this is some version of it, like it. And then they'll sell it and basically like, here you can customize it.
Gotcha.
Let me tell you why I think it's kind of silly to do.
Okay.
Not because I know literally social media friends of mine that do it and I'm not like dogging them, but like I think it's just a little bit silly because you do have access to Canva, you do have access to, a lot on the internet nowadays.
Yep.
That's and I think, you can build something that is more you and something that you'll genuinely like more so than if you
Yeah.
were to just take somebody's template sometimes, I
Gotcha.
think.
So, but do you send this kit to brands or you just wait for them to email you?
So yes and no. So a lot of times people will ask for it. Sometimes, if say I'm going to reach out to somebody, I'm like, hey, I'm really interested in working for you. If you would like to, here's my media kit to, glance over if you have any questions, things like that.
Hmm.
That, you know,
Gotcha.
stuff like that.
So you don't have any agency at all.
No.
Okay.
I did have like a manager for like 1 second, and it was kind of hard, I think, when you have a second party involved sometimes because that the communication with brands
Yeah.
makes it sometimes harder because you don't
Well,
exactly know what's going on in a sense.
Well, I feel like it would be different if the person knew you, like if it was a long-term friend of yours who knows what you would think. Because the ones that I had been offered, it was like these people they never had a phone conversation with me. They just email me and they're just like, "Hey, I can bring you, X number of deals, and we'll take 10% or whatever, if you just post it." And
Yeah.
I'm like, but you don't know me, so now you're negotiating on my behalf, and you don't really know me. So feel like it's kind of hard to negotiate for somebody that doesn't know you.
Right. And I think it's also really hard if that person, I think it's just weird to communicate. Like I said, I think the person has to be the right one. I
Yeah.
think a lot of especially management companies now. Like you have like 1AM, you have what is like MHM management, something like that. I don't quote me. But like that seems to be working for those people. I know that there's a lot of controversy with those management companies taking
What sort of
money.
controversy? Because I find this up to be so interesting because like you and I are kind of in the same space, but we're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Basically management companies, not gonna say who, basically will sometimes I think take money away or kind of like screw them over in a sense, or like
Gotcha.
say they're going to do something that don't, or maybe they're not good at communications, things like that. So it kind of goes back to what we were saying is like you got to find the right people that are going to be looking out for the best interest for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Um, because they can throw out, oh, we can do this, we can do that, but it's like if like be real,
Yeah.
get a grip.
It's interesting. And I guess everybody just has their things because I know a couple people that they have management, but their page is basically just what their management team wants them to post. Like they don't actually post anything about themselves, their like real life, their friends or their partners. It's like, and it is of them dancing or modeling, but it's just like, hey, this is me and I'm wearing this outfit and this is a dance that I'm doing. And like you never see any of them hanging out with their friends in a post. Or like, hey, look at me, here's a selfie on my story. I'm out, just having dinner tonight, with a friend or whatever else. Like you never see it's like it's just a commercial, I feel like. And they're they're like a model for yeah.
I'm so glad you said that because I've talked to so many people about I feel like every time I look at so and so's thing or so and so's, not to like, talk bad about these people, but it's almost like every time I see your stuff, I feel like you're trying to sell me something.
Yeah, and
Like,
if you look
which
at
is
it
like
from
their job, but
correct, correct. If somebody came to me and said, "Hey, we're gonna create an Instagram account for you, and we're gonna have your name on it and your face, and we're gonna send you clothes to wear, and we just want you to wear them and do this dance or whatever, and we're gonna pay you, X number of dollars a month. We just want you to be the face of, and we're gonna make money off of you." I mean, it's no different than going and doing any sort of commercial.
yeah, I have a weird place in my heart about, the whole commercialism thing of social media because at the end of the day, you still, like I said, I want to be personal. I want people to like you said, like show your friends, show
Correct.
your real life what you're doing, because people are going to be interested in that. They're going to fall in love with you, like I said, more organically and authentically than if you're just constantly like, hey, visit my Amazon storefront. Hey, check this out. Here's my code. Here's my code. Here's my code. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, who are you? You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but I feel like that's the only way to build an actual audience is for people to actually know you. And a lot of people don't even read comments or respond back to them. Um, and just the thing that I have found the most interesting of watching a lot of these line dancers is they only post videos of themselves line dancing. They're never having fun with a friend out on the dance floor. Very rarely, I feel like. Um, and I don't know. Because if I'm watching a video, I want to see people having fun. It's just like it's just them on the entire page, and that's what they're comfortable posting, or they don't want to ask a friend. I don't know. I've always just tried to show videos of me having fun with my friends, such as our video of us dancing together, acting very goofy.
So it's funny you mentioned this because I had a very like almost come to Jesus moment with line dancing when it
Hmm.
came to that stuff because I told myself I was like I want to just have fun. I want to go out, I want to dance and be able to enjoy just that and not have to worry about, hey, can you take this video of me? Hey, And like I know that I've seen a lot of line dancers do that, but it almost feels like, are you actually having fun for this dance or because you haven't, are you posting this dance because you haven't posted in a while or are you actually having fun doing it? And
Yep.
that's where I have to differentiate the two of that because I'm like very confused at times.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I stopped posting a lot of line dance videos. I'll post like some like, swing dancing and like things like that here and there, or like for angels, of course,
Hmm.
because
You're
love.
advertising for the palace.
But
Yeah.
right, but as far as like being on the floor anymore, I'm like, man, I just want to have fun and do this dance, add my
Yeah.
own flair. Just, especially with Wes now, like since he dances, I'm just like, that's my time to like have fun with him on the floor, maybe, or
Yeah. Yeah,
so
it's been such an interesting cultural shift the last few years where everybody was on TikTok at first when it first happened and everybody was filming all the time. And I used to never have to ask any friends to film me. They would like I would just be having fun with my
right.
friends and somebody, we'd all just record each other, hey, I'm not doing this dance and I'm just gonna get a video of Donnie and I would do the same thing for them. But now since I feel like some people have just gotten burnt out from it, or, maybe, they didn't get the followers they wanted, so they just kind of gave up on it. Um, so they stopped doing it. And then now I'm kind of like, hey, if you don't mind, can you get a video of me doing this? Damn, I love Miami, like, 'cause I love that dance. So it's
Yeah.
like, I was like, I really like this dance. It's fun. I want to post it. But yeah, that is the tough part is social media has become a job for people like you. And how do you balance of, hey, people have followed me for this, but I also just this was something I was doing for fun to let go during the week.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a hard place to try and find that balance between both of them.
Right. And my biggest message and takeaway, I hope from me literally being on this podcast is post whatever the heck you want.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you will start hating social media, you will resent it, you will not want to do it anymore. You know what I mean? And I've been a victim of this like lately. And I promise you, like I've been through it multiple times where I've sat back and been like, I don't feel like doing that right now. I don't feel like doing it. And it's not like out of laziness, it's out of pure like genuineness. Like I don't want to sit here and try to put on a smile for something that I don't exactly want to do or I'm not passionate about. And whether it's paid or not, like don't post that dancing video if you don't really feel like it. Don't sit here and be like, oh, I have to get, you know, rude dude. Don't, and so like that's why I'm like so sometimes I'm a little patchy. I'll be honest. Like, like when you talk about algorithm and people are like, well, you have to post like 3 times a week at least or every day or da da da. And I'm like, but what does it actually matter? I was like, are you more worried about the following? Are you more worried about posting what you want when you want? Because that is something that's very important to me and also my mental health and sanity.
Yeah.
I did take a break. It was around the time I actually got engaged, just because obviously that's a very crazy time in somebody's life. Like you're busy, like you got stuff to do. And so when we got engaged, I think it was like July, the whole month, I pretty much shut down. I stopped. I might post like a story here and there, but it had nothing to do with business. It had nothing to do with anything. I was kind of just like trying to live for a little bit and breathe because I'd been so go, go, go. And so then I see like a lot of, drama on TikTok or Instagram or whatever it is with influencers. And I'm like, y'all, it's like, you gotta take a step back sometimes because this ain't worth it. It just
Yeah.
ain't like,
What sort of
um,
drama?
just you name it. Like people, honestly, line dancing drama is a thing too. Let's talk about that.
Sure, I would love to.
Line dancing drama. It's very clicky, if you want my honesty. And
Yeah.
I like it.
Um, it is. And it, especially when everybody started doing all of the line dance teams and everything, um, that was interesting to me. And I did join Balance for a little bit, which I like everybody in that group. They're cool.
Yeah, of course.
They're all great people. But at the same time, I'm like, it's not like it's just a group of people who are just getting together to hang out. I mean, there are some who, and Balance has done a couple, but like the West Coasters, like they work with Country Thunder and they go in line dance on stage in between artists and everything. Like if it's a paid gig for you, yes, that's like a true team. But by and large, most of these teams were just people who said, "Hey, I'm part of this group now." It's like, okay, but like, what does that mean?
Okay, I might get controversial
Go ahead.
in a second. So I was part of a group, if
Okay.
you will, that is kind of sort of connected to the West Coasters.
Okay.
Um, it's not necessarily paid.
Okay. I mean, are they paid to travel there at least?
So I was not.
Oh, interesting.
Um,
Okay. Nobody told
so
me they were paid. I didn't.
okay,
So
okay.
I just assumed they were since they were traveling from California to Florida for a whole week.
No. But here's the thing is that I had the most amazing time.
Mhm.
I love everybody. Like I know some of the girls from West Coasters, and I know Dan, I believe
Yeah,
he's like
Dan,
the
yeah, yeah. I like all
yes,
of them.
yes,
They were
yes.
very nice to met my country there last year. They were all very nice.
Yeah. And I was part of the crew. So
Gotcha.
I was with, if you know Amanda Tubbs and all of them. I don't know.
Mhm.
Some of the West Coast people are still with the crew, things like that. So again, amazing, amazing time. But no, which I don't care that we weren't paid because that's not what I was doing it for.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was just the experience. Meeting people as well was a wonderful thing. A lot of them are out, from San Diego.
Mhm.
So honestly, 10 out of 10 experience, and I'm glad I did that. And I hope, I can join that experience again. But that's the thing is that if you are a part of groups and stuff, and I like the problem is, I think with some line dancing groups, I know line dancing groups are making money. I'm not talking about the crew, the West Coasters. That is a completely separate, different thing. I'm talking about like TikTok groups, kind of like Balance. Um, I think it becomes an issue when you start making money off people's social medias.
Mm.
Like, you have like the Balance dancing. TikTok, say they're making money, hypothetically. That's when I'm like, okay, so as a team, how are we to, because say you were in it, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, so you just made money off technically my video, but we don't want to talk about that. You know what I mean? That's when I
Yeah.
think things become a little sketchy because,
Yeah.
uh, and not to say like obviously you're in balance to, make money or anything. And
Yeah.
like I said, everyone in balance is wonderful. I think there's TriStar dancing here as well.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, there's a lot of different groups,
I
but
just
I
feel
think
like you should be doing something with the group, like going to events. Like there's
yeah,
a
having a
reason.
presence.
Yeah, like there's got to be a reason as to why you're a part of a group, not just like, hey, we're all just friends who just enjoy hanging out. There's got to be events you're doing for, or going to, in my opinion.
Well, it's no different than like a literal business model. Like what's your plan? Like
Yeah,
what is your motive? What is your goal for the group?
yeah,
And are you looking to do bigger, better things?
yeah,
Because you do have the West Coasters and the crew out here doing Country Thunder and going out and doing barefoot country and things like that.
yeah,
It's like if you want to take your crews to, things like that, then
yeah,
you've got to start, being a bigger presence. You got to show yourself, show your face, show your brand, you know.
absolutely.
So
So with line dancing being clicks, what bothers you about that, or what have your experience has been?
So it's okay, kind of like the groups, but um, with the groups, it's a little different, I think, because you're more renowned as a whole, as because you have your brand, you have your faces, you have your TikToks, you are a solidified group. I'm talking about as well as like just the cliques in general, like high school
Yeah.
when you go out to line dancing bars, because like I know there's been like a few people who have been like, oh, I really want to visit, the barn. But then they go to the barn and then they're like not welcome, and you're like, oh, like you know what I mean? So it's like things like that where it can get kind of drama-ish, I think, in the line dance
It's
community.
interesting because I mean it literally is just like high school where people start line dancing and they want to be accepted into a group and then they find their sense of worth, I feel like,
Yeah.
through having a group of friends and they're looking for somebody to accept them like when they're first starting out. And just like my personal experience when I first started line dancing at my bar, this is before social media, this is 2019 at the time. And you see other people who all hang out together and they know all the dances, and you're like, man, that seems like so cool. Like they all just like hang out, like they know all these like line dances. I want to be friends with them. And then you start hanging out with them, and then there's just all this drama, and then people start sleeping with each other or dating each other, and then they break up, and then everybody picks sides, and then they're just like talking smack all the time, and it's like, man, I
Yeah.
just wanted to go out and have fun for the weekend,
Yeah.
and that was the tough part. For me personally, is I just felt like once TikTok happened, I was like, okay, people know who I am, but I'm not necessarily trying to be part of any groups. Like, I'm not trying to go into, I'm not trying to compete in swing dancing or line dancing. I'm not trying to get in with any in crowds or in any communities. I just do it for fun. And people I felt like that didn't want to be friends with me because by and large, 98% of the people I've talked to in this community from all across the country have been nothing but nice to me. But they didn't necessarily want to be like great friends with me because there was nothing I could do for them. Like being friends with me didn't move them, give them any sort of status, if that made sense. Because I see some people who, try and make friends with instructors or, I guess to try and gain favor, just to, I don't know. It doesn't feel genuine to me.
I think it is slightly superficial sometimes. I think,
Yeah.
we don't, and again, we don't ever see everything, but it's also like from an outsider's perspective sometimes, because like when you're, I'm kind of like a floater. I would
Yeah.
like to consider myself as such because, okay, at Palace, like for instance, like we have the side where like the angels hang out, where like a lot of the people that have been going there the longest have hang out, like, and that's fine. But then you have the other side of the stage, and there's no reason why people are on one side or the other. It's literally just because the place is huge. And so then you have those people as well, and it's like we all just kind of migrate. We kind of like go like this a little bit, like things like that, and I love that. But it does kind of sadden me, if you will, when people are like, well, your side, like, did it? And I'm like, my side of what? Like, like, be so for real. Like, and they think that, like, we're a bunch of drama and da da da. I was like, no, we just know it. because people like you are running your mouth right now. And then we just have to, like, we're associated. So by association, you think this, then the third, and then you see us at conventions and you see da da da. I was like, we're trying to be present in this community,
Yeah.
but then you do have like the people that will literally tear it down so fast. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
Well, and then it'll be somebody who wants to be friends with this person, and this person doesn't like you. Since this person wants to be friends with this person, then they cannot like you because the person they want to be friends with doesn't like you, even though they have no reason not to like you, even though you probably had a couple conversations with them when they were very nice to you.
I just like are we in third grade? Like I didn't know. I'm like sorry. Like but I can't do it. Like you and I were both engaged. We we're adults. Like hello, like wake up. Like
Yeah.
and it's all over dancing. It's all over the he said, she said, and it's disgusting and I hate it. I think that's also a reason why I had to step back from being really super in the line dance community because of course when you see something really cool that you're passionate about, you're like, "Oh, I want to be a part of this. I want to be deep in the community." But then you get deeper in it and you're like, oh no, like this is not what you thought. And that's exactly kind of what happened. And like a weird scheme of events because with me, because it was just like patchy. Like there was good things, there was bad things, but ultimately be friends with who you want, and like just have fun because if you that drama and stuff will ruin it. It will literally but also in line dancing, when you go to these conventions, you learn people, like we said, that are in California and Arizona or wherever, like they're gonna run their mouths too. Like, don't you worry about it. Like, because then they're gonna go to their home bar and be like, oh, that's so and so. Did you see her on TikTok? Did you whatever? And like, it's disgusting and I hate
Yeah.
it.
The funniest thing when TikTok happened and people started meeting people within a 5 hour driving radius. That seems to be the main distance people will drive. And so next thing you know, like in Charleston, you have like Coyote Joe's, and then you have the barn, which is about 5.5 for me, and then you have Cotton Eye Joe's in Knoxville.
Yeah.
And everybody is like, oh, wow, I can like go hang out for a weekend and I see that you like to dance and we could be like really good friends. We could hang out. And then they go there and people were like so excited to see you because hey, you're from Charleston and you're visiting our bar and it's so dope. And then you start to realize the more times you go there or the more you talk to people, they're still the same people. As it's like this huge dopamine hit the first time you go because all these people are like so excited to see you. It's so welcoming. It's the first time we're now traveling. And then from there, you're like, oh no, these people are just people, human nature is human nature. People are the same in Tennessee as they are in South Carolina. In yeah, like you said, it's
Well, when you first came, you got like completely swarmed. And I was kind of like one of those friends where I just sat back and I was like, okay, like we'll hang out, we'll dance, like da da da. But it's like I also didn't want to be like attached to your hip because I was like, you have so many things going on, like and people wanting to dance and like things. But also like I think Savannah was there as well that time.
yeah.
I
Yeah, I didn't
um,
we didn't talk to Savannah that weekend. When we did, I did briefly, but she was busy doing other things. So
oh, well,
she
I
didn't.
just feel like there was so much going on when you
Yeah.
came that I feel like I didn't even like I don't know, it just
I
now
mean,
I'm
it's so tough because well, I think we were there what 2 nights, but yeah, I mean, like you go because it's an 8 hour drive for me, so you're there and you have like especially Nassau is such a hub because not only do I have like dancing friends there, I have artist friends there, like Carly and James were there, and it's like, dude, I've
yes.
talked to you online all the time, like I want to hang out in person and talk to you and
Oh,
get to
aren't
know
they
you
so
for
lovely? I love them so
yeah,
much.
dude, they're so unbelievably nice. And Carly's got some freaking pipes too, man. Good Lord.
She's
But
beautiful.
yeah, she's a great person, and so is James. But yeah, it's a lot. And it's tough to navigate. And like I said, does make you feel kind of lonely because you're like because you want to search for the genuine friendships, and it is hard to find like real and genuine friends. And I mean, what we've been friends for what over 2 years now, and not that we've ever had any issues, but I know if we did, you would be the first person to call me or text me and be like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Oh yeah.
Because as you know, and as we've experienced, sometimes somebody just lies about something you say, and people just stop being friends with you and then you're like, I never even said that, or, that was like completely twisted.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I think of you and him like as, great friends and I feel like I can call you or text you whenever I need, if there obviously was also a situation like that because I have
Yeah.
had to do that unfortunately. But Yeah, no, I think as well though, like kind of like going back to just going to different bars and stuff. I know that there's a lot of people that come to Nashville Palace outside of, other places. And so when like there's a girl, oh my gosh, I forgot her name. Oh my God, I love her. So she came and like me and Wes just started talking to her and her boyfriend and like we're, great friends at the time at the bar and stuff. And she's like, oh yeah, we're from so and so, and like we'll have to visit you sometime. But not my cat making a ruckus. So but all to say, like, I think the most important part about like if you're going to be in the line dance community, literally just go up to people. If they look lost or like they're trying to like see where everybody is or like fit in a sense or like just, hang. Especially if they're alone, just like say hi to them because you never know. Like, and also just be kind. Like, I know people sometimes have like, the resting RBF,
Yeah.
but like at the same time, like I see girls and I'm just like, hey, like you're really pretty, just be kind to each other because
Yeah.
I know that sometimes, things people can make assumptions about you and just tell the wrong person. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, well, I didn't even talk to you, but it's like you should have. You just should have said, hey, you should stay in the touch.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that goes for friendships and relationships. Just communicate. Here, let me flip this camera. You can see my cats. Of course, the people who listen on Spotify.
Oh my goodness. Hello.
Stuff. They have gotten in this bad habit where they are sleeping like right now, and then and 4 o'clock in the morning they are just running, like, making a ruckus in the house at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's this one right here. But yeah, no, I think that the most important part about the online dance community is that you can find people anywhere.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing is to be nice because I've met a lot of amazing, great people that honestly I haven't talked to again, but at least I said hi and I smiled at them.
Well,
Um,
just
oh
try and make genuine friendships with people. Don't make it about what can they do for me, or maybe I can gain
yeah,
status if I, am friends with this person. Everybody will think I'm cool. Just be in search of genuine friendships because that's really what it should be about is, just having fun. Even if you're at the highest level of dance, we're doing it because we enjoy it. And
right.
it's a lonely road if you spend your entire time trying to be the coolest or best dancer at the bar. It's gonna be a very lonely road.
Yeah. But it's really no different in the influencing community because I've gone to so many events recently, especially around CMA Fest. I mean, we're all are doing the same thing. We're all there to do the same content, and that's just the reality of it. And if
Yeah.
anybody doesn't has any questions about that and you don't ever notice it on social media, that's exactly what it is. I'm here to tell you the nitty-gritty and the bad side because there is some, hardships in it when you see a lot of girls that you may have looked up to. You may have been like, oh, I get so inspired by them. And then you meet them in person, you're like, oh, like, and I'm, still growing. And so I'm sitting here like I don't have that many followers really in the great scheme of it when I look at all these women, which are like, but like don't compare yourself, but it's still that
Are they
feeling of
just
like,
not
oh,
friendly?
um, I think that unfortunately the thing is that people are very to themselves sometimes because they're afraid to make genuine friends because they've had people in the past only talk to them for the clout or only want to do content with them for the clout. And I think that's just an absolute ridiculous thing. Like, I don't want to do it for your followers. I want to do it because I want to make fun content. It has nothing to do with that. And it depends on who you are. Because, like, if you're a nice person, you're nice to me, hey, let's hang. Like,
Yeah.
it's as simple as that. And it shouldn't be about anything else.
So there was a girl that we met. She was we got VIP tickets to the show, and I don't remember this girl's name, but she had like over 1 million followers. And Savannah and Emily knew her and they went up to go talk to her. And the girl was almost like taken aback that somebody came up and said hello to her. And her boyfriend said out loud, "See, people do know who you are." And I find it interesting in that world because you're in the line dancing world and this Western influencer world. I feel like even though they don't have a lot of followers, and yes, they might be a Western influencer, there's nowhere they really go that people do know who they are, even though they have a lot of
Yeah.
followers. Because really I mean occasionally I'll get recognized, in a grocery store or something along those lines. But by and large, if I go to a country bar, people have seen my videos because they line dance. So unless I'm in that specific market, And
Yeah.
because of that, I've learned how to talk to people. And I felt like with that girl and maybe some of these other people also with what you're talking about, where hey, um, maybe they are just close to the chest because you can get burned. It's a competitive industry. Or maybe they just haven't quite learned how to talk to people in a social setting because maybe they aren't really around that unless they're around these other influencers. And because I feel like it was a learned skill that I had to learn when people started talking to me. And then I watched Emily go through it because you just like to go out and dance for fun and do these events for fun. It's not like now that some people, oh, yeah, I love your videos. And you're like, wow, thank you. But I'm also here just to have fun.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't ever want to get into that situation where like people think like, oh, it's just like a networking scheme of like me just trying to like get in with the cool influencers because it's not that. Like it's really not. I'm here, I got invited, I accepted it. I'm here to make content, but I'm also here to make friends. And like that's all it was. And I feel like some people were just like, but also there's a part of me that still was a little shy because I literally said hi. Oh my God. I said hi to this chick and I was like, oh my gosh, like you're so beautiful, like this, that, and the other. And she's like, oh, I'm so and so. She's like, we should be mutuals and like follow me. And I was like, okay. I followed her. She had like a million something. So I said, oh, I was like, oh. I was like, oh, hi, but she was so nice, even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't any type of way, but I was just like taken back because I was like, oh, I didn't know I was talking to that, you know what I mean? But it was like that, still that mindset. I was like, well, I mean, she was just such a normal, great, amazing person. It didn't matter. But then I saw it and I was like, oh, like, okay, cool.
Which you should be, no matter how many followers or how many people watch your movies or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, just be nice to people because I always imagined, you know, trying to meet somebody that you looked up to, like an athlete when I was growing up, and how would you want them to treat you if you went up to somebody and you're like, hey, I really love watching you play music or play this sport. You would want them to engage with you and talk to you. And I try and do the same thing even when people message me. I just want to, if somebody takes the time to message me something really nice, you just try and say thank you.
Mhm. It's all it takes though. And because like I just want to leave a good impression with everyone I meet. I try really hard. Just because you never know. Number one, also what people can say, I feel like that's that. But ultimately, you also don't know how much I can make a person say because I had somebody literally from my line dance instructing in Nashville come up to me at the Barefoot Country Music Festival and was like, "Hey, are you Em?" And I was like, "Oh yes, hi." I was like, "Well, what's your name?" Like blah blah blah. We're getting to know each other. She's like, "You taught me and my mom how to line dance in Nashville at da da da." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And like the fact that someone recognized me and like came up to me like um that meant a lot to me. And, I hope they remember that because I
Yeah,
do.
that's awesome. You never know when you're going to change somebody's life.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a little bit of time left,
Okay.
and I think we should talk about weddings and wedding planning since you and I both are engaged and we both are getting married. Now, don't see the exact date because we don't need anybody stalking you at your wedding.
Right.
Same goes for me. Roughly, when is your wedding?
It is literally like 11 months away
11
almost.
months away. Okay.
Yeah. It's
That's
almost
pretty,
here.
that's pretty almost close date there.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a little teaser.
Yeah. No, 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 no. I'm saying 11 months. You give it like a season so that way people don't stalk you and just show up at your wedding.
That's a big party. Come on. No, I'm
Okay.
just kidding. I'm kidding. But no, everyone's invited. So it's gonna be like I want it to be like a spring/fall. I didn't want it like deep in fall. I didn't want it like a November wedding.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of getting into winter. But I just I'm kind of over like every October wedding, I guess, in a sense. But
Have you all
so
have the venue picked out and
we do. We do. And it's beautiful, beautiful venue. And that was honestly the hardest part. However, I only looked at three places. And that being one of them. So with that being said, it was an easy decision, but it's the biggest as far as like money. I think that's like the most you're gonna spend on your wedding, other than if you want to spend a lot on your dress or something. But um the venue was crazy because it's just funny how you see all these venues it's like, well, we offer this, we offer that, but then it's like, well, this is how much this is, this is how much this is. Well, then your space sucks. Well, then this space is bigger, and you're just like, I don't know which one, And they're all kind of like jumbled together, and like especially the location because we're trying to like have it not in Tennessee. So, that was also a decision we had to make just because of family reasons, and so yeah, that'll be interesting.
How many people are
Yeah.
y'all inviting?
Genuinely, like probably like 200 something. Like it's gonna be a pretty big, hopefully, wedding. I mean, not to say everybody's obviously gonna come, but it'll be.
It's a lot of people.
I have a big family. They're most of it, I'll be honest.
We're at 130, and I wish we weren't even that high.
Yeah. I had talked to Emily briefly about things, and she was just like, "Yeah, I just feel like there's so many people." And I was just like, "How many people?" And she told me, and I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Girl," I was like, "You're not even at the cusp of like." I was like, we had to take down so many people and like be like so realistic, and like I'm sure that you all had to go through the same thing of
We
like,
don't have many friends coming to the wedding, which I want to bring more if some of this family, we just both have such big families and we just had to send the cutoff of like, hey, no kids. Because all my cousins are older than me. My mom has five sisters.
yeah,
And I'm just like, that's a lot of people. But I'm so intrigued to see because we sent out the invites. Half of them have RSVP'd already. Then they've had these invites for 2 weeks now. The cutoff is December 1st. So I'm curious to see, who else is still going to RSVP. And I'm like, why are you going to RSVP later on? And then as I talk
yeah.
to some people about it, they're like, oh, no, we had some people just show up. And I'm like, oh, that ain't happening at mine.
No, no, I don't agree with that. But yeah, I think the thing was is like it's so important that I've been guilty of not RSVPing this stuff like on time. But it is important because of food. It's important because of seating charts. It's important and it's all these little things that you don't think about. And I literally
Yeah.
like got a template off Canva of like a bridal thing of
Yeah.
like organization to help me kind of like in my sanity. But we ended up getting a wedding planner, and I think that'll help a lot. But at first, I was like really freaking out.
Is Wes helping you plan it, or are you just planning most of this by yourself?
So mainly it's me and my mom, but he wants to be involved so bad too.
Yeah.
Like, and not that I'm telling him like, no, you can't be involved, but like it's just so much, and like the big decisions, obviously, he's like, I want to be a part of, and then like the main, like the small things, like the colors and like things he doesn't really care about. But I'm doing something really fun. I'm just gonna tell like give a little in on my wedding. But we're doing our flowers as all like the women that are important to me, like my mom, his mom, my aunt, stuff like that. All the flowers are going to be their birth flowers, and I think it's really cool.
That's beautiful, yeah.
Just kind of like a little sentimental part of my wedding.
Now, have
So,
y'all picked a first song out yet?
oh my gosh. Okay. So I saw you and Emily have like is it choreographed?
Yeah, we did first we were gonna do Good Thing Going by Martin McDaniel, and then we had our old ballroom people, they were choreographing that, and then we fell out with them, and then that just kind of had a bad taste in our mouth. So then we had this joke we were gonna do Perfect by Ed Sheeran because I do love that song. And I thought it would be hilarious to walk out there and then be like, all right, hit play our first song or first dance together as a married couple, and then Shivers hits. And then we'd be like, "Oh, whoa, 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 whoa,"
Oh my,
and then it would play perfect, and then we would go into Shivers.
that's so funny.
But that was a Viennese waltz, and perfect was it's very fast. It's a tough song, and we were gonna do that, and we already started choreographing that. And then we went to see Dan and Shay live, and we listened to them play from the ground up live. And I've always loved that song.
Yeah.
And but when they played it live, I mean, have you seen Dan and Shay live?
No, I haven't.
Okay, 10 out of 10 experience.
But I
Amazing.
love that song.
But it gave me chills seeing it live. And we literally both looked at each other and were like, that needs to be our wedding song. Like
Yeah.
right after the song was done, that needs to be so I think we had taken 2 lessons with the as perfect, and then we went to her and we're like, which the only reason we changed it on her is because they were both Viennese waltzes.
Yeah.
So we weren't going to change up the total dance on her. We just changed up the song. So yes, we were doing a Viennese waltz, and yes, it's choreographed too from the ground up. How about y'all?
That used to be me and my ex's song.
Well, we won't talk about that, Eggs.
Fine. No, our song, we have a song, but we haven't really been like, this is our first dance song. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we have like a whole playlist and really kind of like we'll go through it every once in a while and kind of be like, I'm not feeling that anymore, kind of eliminating things. But The Painter by Cody Johnson
Okay.
right now is
If
our
I
main.
I would probably wait till about 3 months before the wedding before you make a final decision on it, because you never know. Y'all could go and experience something great as a couple, and a song's playing, and you're like, "Wow, this needs to be our wedding
Yeah,
song."
yeah. We're not cool enough to choreograph one. I just told him I was just like, just wing it. I was like, oh,
Okay,
because
so
I
y'all
have
just go
so
swing dance.
You know what's funny is that I'll get on a stage at National Palace every weekend, but the moment that I went to our venue and like went down the aisle of where the ceremony will be, I was like, no, my social anxiety. I was like, I am very, very anxious when it comes to like crowds. And so I was like, if we're gonna be slow dancing to a song, like it's gotta like something like I have to have that moment of like there's no one but you. And I know that it might happen, but I'm still like, oh my God, I'm so scared because like people are just gonna be like like watching us and I just have so much social anxiety of like so I don't know I'm nervous.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's like everybody there knows us but it's still like don't watch us, just go eat cake or something.
Well,
I don't know.
then t the top part is you also have to do a dance with your dad too,
That'll be
and I have to do
something.
one with my mom.
Yeah, I have a song for me and my dad already, and then I have a song for I'm doing another one by the way with my mom, my other mom, which is a whole nother thing that I don't think I've ever discussed with you.
Maybe briefly.
I have two moms that are
Okay.
married, and then I have my dad.
Okay, explain this further so I can understand. Make sure I'm on the same page here.
So I got adopted by
Yes.
my mom, my dad, and
Okay.
then my mom is married to who I call my Nini because her
uh,
name's Steph. But I was like probably like two or something when she came into my life, but she's married to her now. So
Okay. So your parents were married,
yes,
you got adopted, and these
yeah,
two people adopted you, a man and a
yeah,
woman. And then
yes,
when you were two, they got divorced.
yes.
And then where did the balloons come from?
I don't know.
What did we do there for that? Okay. Anyways, people on Spotify are gonna think we're crazy. Balloons just randomly popped up on him down screen. Okay. So then when you were two, she is now with another woman,
Yes,
and your dad is not remarried.
no.
Okay.
So I'm gonna dance with my stepmom, I guess. I don't like calling her that because she's been in my life literally since I could walk. So
They all have a good relationship with each other.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the tough part for Emily's because her mom's been married 3 times and her dad has been married twice. So her seating chart is going to be fun, which is interesting because all of her family are now kind of talking for the first time. Her mom and her dad still have not spoken since the day they got divorced.
Oh,
But thankfully, whenever last year for Christmas, her mom came up and her dad's side of the family was up, her grandparents and aunt. And so they hadn't seen each other in a long time. And we all had a blast. And I mean, they've always liked each other. It just unfortunately didn't work out between her parents. And
yeah.
but yeah, the wedding's gonna be interesting because she's gonna have like three families there.
Yeah. That's kind of, I mean, yeah, I relate. I get it. Like I tell people that all the time. I'm like, we'll have like 8 Christmases. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's complicated.
You spent like a whole week just going to a
Yeah.
different family's house for
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. All right, well, Dancing with the Stars is about to come on. So I think now is a perfect time to end this.
Oh gosh, that's so funny. Shush.
Are you watching it?
No.
Have you ever watched it?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I just know you made that video about it and it's funny
Which
to me.
one? The one where I said where I was saying that they shouldn't dance with people outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see the comments on Facebook on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was a woman, I think I don't even remember how many views that video got, but there was a woman who runs, she's the admin for a Dancing with the Stars Facebook page, and it has 38,000 followers in there. And so she screen captured my post, which was
Yes.
completely satirical, obviously. And I was trolling the people who troll me. And it's so funny because I make a comment saying, hey, husbands and wives should only dance with each other. And the people who troll me, they don't sit there and go and comment, wow, we're so glad you finally saw the light. All the people who think that it's okay to dance with whoever you want, who agree with me, they just start ripping me apart. And she shares this in this group page with 30,000 people. And I mean, the comments about how just dumb and terrible I am. Be
No, I literally saw that and my jaw dropped. I said, "You're kidding."
Hey, that's the point though. I stir up drama. People come to the page and then they watch my stuff and then I make money and I just gotta live with it. Everybody tells me I'm stupid anyways, so might as well make some few bucks off of it.
Oh, but it's so funny. Like, I know some people like don't think it's funny, but I'm just like, he literally wakes up and just comments towards hate, and it's the funniest comebacks. Like, because they're dry. Like, your humor's very dry sometimes, where it's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, yeah.
Because unless you know me and you know that I'm coming from a comedic perspective, it looks like I'm just freaking dumb as hell.
Yeah, but it's almost like, see, with my humor and like comedic things when it comes to like hate and just social media, I'm like, no one actually cares. I was like, no one. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and
No.
you shouldn't.
No,
And you
and
shouldn't.
they don't even watch the page. I mean, this guy was going on and on about how I'm friend zoned by Savannah. And I commented back to him. I said, dude, I've been engaged for 2 years. Like I've been with the same person for 2 years now.
Yeah.
What do you mean I'm friend zoned? Like I've literally proposed. I'm with a whole nother. How do you not even take the 2 seconds to look at my profile picture? Or the people who come up, oh, I thought this guy was gay. I'm like, what? I'm like, I've literally been
It's okay. Everyone thinks Wes is gay. So.
well, hey, that's because he's handsome.
And people just be mad that he can twerk better than them. So
I have yet to see West twerk.
I'll send you a video.
Oh God, man. Okay, great. I can't wait to watch that.
It's at Palace. It's at
I'm
Palace. I'm just like it's
I'm gonna be sitting
Instagram
here. I'm gonna be sitting here watching Dance with the Stars and West twerking here in about 5 minutes.
yeah,
It's so
yeah.
weird because I was never like I'd never really watched Days of the Stars growing up. I mean, I obviously knew about it, but ever since I've learned ballroom, um, it has I'm just like crazy obsessed with the show,
Yeah.
and I just think it's hilarious because we'll sit there and we'll watch it, and they'll do a foxtrot, and I'm just sitting there the entire time, and I'm like, okay, if it's a male celebrity, I'm like, are they going from heel to toe? Are they doing some heel leads here? And then you watch
Yeah.
them, when they're doing salsa, and I'm like, they're not doing toe leads there. And then I'm checking the frame, and I'm just like, are they? Nope, that their hands in the wrong place. And then Derek Huff will come on there, and he'll be like, your hand was not in the right place there, and your frame. And I'm like, see, I told you that's why you're getting a 6 there, buddy.
I feel like you're gonna be on Dancing with the Stars later or sooner than later.
I wish it would be so tough because I mean you have to live out there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I
But
mean
like,
if it,
wouldn't that be a great season?
I don't know if it would be legal for me to be on considering I have ballroom experience.
True.
It'd be interesting because I mean, not that I'm a great ballroom dancer by any means, but I have experience. And then, but I mean, you took like someone like Charlie D'Amelio who won a couple years ago. I mean, she grew up dancing, and I mean, she looked like a professional dancer from by like week two, especially learning from Mark Ballas. By like her week one dance was solid. Don't get me wrong, but I honestly thought by her week two dance, she looked like a professional dancer, like
Yeah.
ballroom dancer. I was like, it's not fair if you've been dancing your entire life. The show should be more about grabbing athletes or celebrities who maybe they danced ballet as a child, like but not actually did, professional dancing
Yeah.
almost their entire life up until this point.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's why I think he'd be a decent candidate. Like,
I don't know if I have enough followers for that, though. I don't know. It's weird because I have more followers than a good portion of the Dance with the Stars staff. I
I'm
don't
just
know.
saying.
I'd have
I
to
don't know.
spend a week out there. I mean, several months out there. It's what, 3 months long, I think it is.
Hey, every day's a new adventure. You never know.
I would either want to be partnered with Jenna or Daniela, and height wise, that's probably who they would pair me with if they did.
Not the height.
That's what they do. It's so important. I mean, I know
I
like
forget about that. When I first met you, I thought you were like at least a little taller than me, but you're really not.
mm-mm.
Emily's taller than me though. She's actually pretty tall.
How
I think
tall are
Emily's
you?
pretty tall. I'm like 5'4".
Yeah, I'm taller than Emily.
Yeah, but like I'm just thinking Emily saw like I just like thought
Yeah,
in my head.
we're so weirdly proportioned and because her like my neck is longer than hers and my it's so weird because when we sit down next to each other, I am a good almost I feel I don't want to exaggerate, but I'm probably at least 4 inches taller than her when we're sitting down. My torso is 4 inches longer, but her legs are probably 3 or 4 inches longer than mine, and my neck is just longer than hers by like an inch or two, and that's how I'm taller than her.
Oh,
Yeah.
I, like I'm like Wes, come here. I need to measure your neck. No.
But we couldn't dance ballroom together. Like, I mean, we could, I mean, and we
Yeah.
can, but if from a judge's perspective, aesthetic matters.
Yeah.
So they would not score me and Emily well if we like really wanted to do like professional ballroom dancing or anything. We would not be able to compete together.
Before we go, I just one more thing. Do people get very competitive about your like partnerships and stuff, like where you are in Charleston and stuff, like when you're like competing wise? I don't know if y'all do a bunch of like partner dancing necessarily, but we obviously here do a lot of country swing and people get so tore up about partnerships here. And I just wanted your take on that.
What do you mean by part? Like, who they dance with?
And who they compete with. Like, well, it's more so like competing. Like, so if you're competing with somebody at NDF or yes or whoever,
Yeah.
that's usually your person. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah, that's more so something from some of the Orlando people that I've heard stories about,
Oh
but
no.
nobody in Charleston really competes or is really in that. There's just some people who have done some line dance competitions,
Oh,
but we really don't have much time to swing down here.
okay.
There's a few people who have gone to some of these conventions, but um, I've gone on about it and I've ranted and raved, and this is probably going to go on longer than because now you got me on a hot
All
topic
right.
here, and I'm gonna go in and whatever because here's my perspective. Um, have you been listening to Glenn Ball's podcast? Are you familiar with Glenn Ball?
Mm.
Okay. So he's a West Coast professional dancer and his wife is a ballroom dancer and Susan is amazing. So Glenn started this podcast called There's No Such Thing as Country Swing, which title is clickbait. Because he has been talking to all these different people and everybody has this different timing to country swing. And it was bothering the living hell out of me, because I knew nothing about dance and I go to a ballroom studio. And once I started learning how to dance, I wanted to learn West Coast when I went in there. And I'm learning, hey, it's you're gonna step on one, two, three, and four. I was like, what is three and four? What is one, two? I've heard it counted before, but what does it mean?
Yeah.
She goes, oh no, you have to move your feet on one, your right foot on two, and then you're gonna syncopate three and four. And I was
Right.
like, what in living I said, okay, hold on. I said, I have to move my feet on beat to the music while I'm trying to lead this female. And I have to keep her on beat also. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, wow. I'm like, this is it just blew my mind. It makes sense, but you just don't think about it, right?
Yeah.
And the way they taught country swing at Arthur Murray's 1, 2, 3, 4, just one step per beat of music, right?
Yeah.
And then I go back to the bars, and I knew nobody else was really taking line dance lessons or partner dancing lessons. And it feels like a new power has been unlocked. I'm like, oh, dude, guys, guess what? Like, if you want to like dance on beat, you have to like move your feet to the beat of the music, and it's like
Right.
one, two,
Yeah.
three, four is country swing timing, and they're all just like, cool, we don't care. And I went to I went to one of those conventions, and there are some of these people who are winning buckles and stuff.
Can
And
I ask Jim,
yeah, go ahead.
what convention was it?
It was
Like,
Shoreline in
okay.
Orlando.
Go ahead.
So I go to this convention, and nobody's talking about timing. They're just showing you moves. And that just didn't sit right with me. I don't understand it. And I don't want to shit on anybody's business model or anything because I'm not trying to. And it just didn't make any sense to me. And I personally, after going to ballroom and then nobody's talking about timing and how we're dancing on beats, it drove me insane. And you go to these events and people are winning these buckles and all they're doing is just flips and tricks. And I know they don't even know what a quick and a slow is.
Yeah.
And that is like the most basic thing that you learn when you first start dances, what a quick, a slow, and a syncopation is. And then you get into like samba and it's like one, two, and you're like, what does mean? Like we're saying, three and four, that's a syncopated step, and now we're talking about like, oh, that's like dancing on a quarter beat. And I was like, I'm having a hard enough time getting on one beat, and now you want me to move to a quarter of a beat? I still have
Yeah.
yet to get there. Um, so it just really rubbed me the wrong way with some people, because they wanted to act like they are the greatest dancers in the world because they can do all these flips, tricks, and spins, but they have no idea any sense of
A
timing
technicality.
at all. Like they don't even like it's not something that's even been registered in the brains. And they're going to some of these conventions. Um, and Glenn had them on, like Nomads, he had them on their podcast, and like their version of country swing is completely different from what what I was taught at Arthur Murray, and what I'm gathering from this podcast that Glenn's doing, where he's been having those different people on, is that there's a lot of different versions. Their
Yeah.
version personally does not make any sense to me at all. I don't understand the timing, and I never even thought about this, was that Glenn brought up, is what music are we even dancing country to? And what BPM are we dancing it to? Because
Right.
if you've never been to a Latin club, if you go to a Latin club, this is a salsa, this is a bachata, this is a merengue, this is a cha-cha, this is a samba. The music, the dance was created for that music, right? And country swing so far has kind of just been this hodgepodge of shit to me. And this is for the competitive world. I talked about this with Glenn on the pod.
Yeah.
It's just if you want to show up to National Palace or Honky Tonk Saloon and you just want to spin a girl around and most people are there just to have fun
Right.
and let
Yeah.
loose, it's fine. Like that's great, please. And it should be a gateway of like, hey, if you just want to do that, keep your partner safe, and just have fun with it. But if you are going to go to a competition and you're going to be handing out belt buckles and trophies and everything else, and you don't even know what timing you're dancing to, no matter what timing they say it is,
Yeah.
if whoever's hosting the event and they say country swing, this is going to be quick, quick, slow, or it's going to be one, two, three, four, whatever it is, then I want to see that timing danced at this competition. That's what we are judging you off of,
Right.
you know? Uh,
Well, I mean, everyone thinks you can just dance country swing to anything, which I think that's a joke because I've seen it, I've heard it. I don't like that part because, like, kind of going on what you said, it's like there's certain music that you just can't do. You know what I mean? There's certain songs where you're like, this has to be like two-step progressive or it has to be whatever, you know what I'm saying? And like people think you just country swing to anything. Like, no, you genuinely
no, it could
can't.
be if it's a waltz. You can only dance waltz to waltz music.
Right.
It would be so unbelievably well, if you're timing, it depends on how you dance it too. Because if you're teaching it, Glenn was talking about at Go Dance is what his wife used to own, and now they teach there. But they taught it single timing one, two, three, four also. But like nightclub two step is danced quick, quick, slow, but you're kind of like rocking to your side and then moving back this way so you can kill that slow beat. So like if you take She's Everything by Brad Paisley, it's a nightclub two step, and that's what nightclub two step was created for, was these really slow country songs that aren't a waltz, but they're just really slow for a progressive two step.
Right.
And I'm like, it'd be so hard to dance country swing to a nightclub two-step song. You theoretically could, but it just would be you'd be moving in slow motion. One, two, three, four. So that's just what has driven me insane. And then there's also been other people who are now hosting competitions, and they're not really doing it to the choreography for these line dance competitions and everything. And I don't understand it, because how can you judge somebody off something if you aren't judging them off of the choreography that was created for that dance? It's just an
Right.
improv dance competition at that point,
Yeah.
which is fine. If you want to host an improv dance competition, go for it. And I don't know if it's because of social media and like you said, some of these people are doing great marketing and God bless them. I love an entrepreneur, and I just don't quite understand it. And it could be, it evolves also, and these people, they seem
Yeah.
very passionate about dance, and I think that is great. But I found listening to this podcast also that some of the people Glenn had on is that they've only been doing this for 4 years. They've only been dancing for 4, maybe 6 years. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, how much have you really learned and who have you learned from to now you're going out and hosting an event and teaching that, in my opinion, just seems a little bit early to be doing like a full scale company to only be dancing for that long, in my opinion.
But that's why I do respect Standard Western because whenever, they hold their competitions, they make it known that like, hey, these two walls, you have to do it by the choreography.
Yes.
That has to be by step sheet. And then the other two walls, you're technically allowed to do whatever. But honestly, the whole wall thing confuses people, and a lot of people don't do a lot of flair, which I think that's calmed down a lot of that. With like you said, improv dancing. But yeah, I've noticed that it kind of sucks for other people that are doing the dance correctly. They're adding a little bit of their own, play or whatever, but then you got people doing backflips and it's like,
That's not
oh,
part of the
I'm not cheer-
choreography.
yeah,
Yes.
and nor am I a cheerleader. Sorry.
Yes.
Like, you know what I
Yes.
mean? So it's kind of
Yes.
like,
Well, no, if a song, excuse me, if a dance has sailor steps in it, I want to see how well can you execute those sailor steps. If there's a, kick and point, is your leg straight on the point, like those are things
is
that
it clean? Is it?
yeah. So that's what you should be judging off of, not, hey, look at how cool I can do a backflip and I can, shake my hair and do like 5 spins and then land back on beat. That's not the choreography. That's cool. That's great. It's awesome you can do that. But that's just I just it doesn't make sense to me if people enjoy doing it. Hey, I'm glad you guys are out there dancing and enjoying yourselves, but just for me personally, it doesn't just make any sense, which is why I don't want to do it. And
You get a nerve with you.
it's been I know it's been bugging me for a long time because you go to ballroom and then it's like it's two different worlds. Like people are dancing, but then I'm doing this and I've taken some lessons from some pretty world-class instructors and
Yeah.
dancers, and you're learning from them. And by all means, for anybody who listens to this, this is not me saying that I'm some great dancer because I'm not. I still very much consider myself a novice. But at the same time, I've also learned 20 different styles of dance in the last 3 years. So I know what a foxtrot looks like. I know what a salsa should look like. And I know timing, and I have learned that we're dancing to the beat, and you're learning a basic. So I'm just sitting there watching this, and I'm just like, what are we judging these people off of? And I heard that recently they did some sort of country swing competition. But the song they played, you could dance West Coast to. And it was, I think, like a novice country swing competition. But then these people were really good at West Coast. And they did West Coast and they were solid West Coast dancers and they won, but they danced West Coast because it wasn't, I guess, strict or something of what exactly country swing was. So they looked cool doing their West Coast moves. It, it's like it makes no sense at all.
Yeah. So I got in trouble, not in trouble, that's not the word, but I was told that I did not make it to finals in a competition because I was doing salsa. I said, I'm gonna stop you right there because I don't even know salsa for real like that. Like I know it, obviously, like I've done it, but it's like I'm not a professional in salsa. I don't teach salsa. I
Yeah,
don't
I'm sure you went out there doing Cuban motion while you're doing country swing.
exactly. I was like, now my partner, he is a salsa instructor. He's also, yeah, he does bachata, he does whatever. Now, when they said that to me, I said, who was doing it? I said, because I wasn't. I said, I can tell you that right now. I said, and even if a lead is doing salsa, that doesn't make me do salsa. So let's talk about that. And then so the judge, I love her to death. She was like, well, like y'all were doing this and you weren't doing the star pattern and da da da. And I'm like sitting here like, I don't think that's true.
By the
I was
way,
just like,
this is my first time hearing of this star pattern. I've never heard of this, and I went to my ballroom instructors, and I'm like, "Have you heard of this?" Mind you, her parents were West Coast Masters champions. She's phenomenal dancer. She's great dancer. I was like, have you heard of this? I was like, because this is,
Yeah.
I've been in this world for what, 6 years now. This is my first time of hearing of a star pattern. But hey, if that's the rules of their competition, I
Yeah.
wouldn't know. I don't know how I'm trained in 20 styles of dance, and I've never heard of a star pattern. So if I were to compete in this and you told me I'm doing country swing, and then you're gonna tell me I'm not doing it right.
Yeah.
But continue.
So then I, looked back on it and I was like, okay, he is trained that way. I said, but also because he is an instructor, he's very in the community. I was like, I don't know if they had some like prejudges, like, or, assumption that he was gonna do that because that's what he does. So I don't know if that was that, but it kind of upset me because I was like, okay, it's crazy because you put us through semis and then you don't like, I'm just confused. So.
Why are you putting me through semis if I was doing salsa the entire time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I'll say the quiet part out loud because I don't give a fuck. Uh, it's all politics based. It's so unbelievably politics based, and that is not just in the country world. That is ballroom based world also. I don't want to call out the instructor, but he basically told us when he was in Charleston, he's like, if I know what school you came from and who you learned from, or maybe I've seen you in the past, I know you're solid, I'm probably not even gonna watch you because I know what you're gonna do. So I'm gonna watch other people. So it's like, well, what if that person has an off night, but you just think because you've seen them before that they're great, or you know what school, what system they came from, so now
Yeah.
you think that they're great, so you just don't watch them, but yet they're actually having an off night and they really weren't
No,
on time.
the entire score system, and honestly, I'm gonna say this because I don't really see myself competing much in the future because of politics, because of the scoring, because of feedback I've received, and not to say like, oh, I didn't make it, so I'm not gonna do it again, because that's not what's stopping me. I just generally have no desire really at this point, other than to compete maybe with a partner of mine. But um I was told that that part that they don't look at you. But the scoring is basically so like it's like a tick. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, 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 sure. No, nah. I'm like, okay, but there's five of you like watching. There are 30 people on the floor right now. There's no way that you were just like, no, okay, I'm like, what are you basing this off? Because then people in the crowd, of course, are like, well, we saw something completely different. I said, yeah, I know, because you were actually watching these people. I
Yeah.
was like, that's different. I was like, so the fact that like, like when I didn't make that and not because I'm not heard about it, like it was fine. Because obviously I went to the judges and I talked to them about it and got feedback that I needed to hear. But I was like, everyone was like, how did y'all not make it? They're like, as far as technicality, you're at least clean. And
Yeah.
I was just like,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, okay.
I've
Thank you.
seen it. I've seen it time and time again. It's who's buddies with who, and it's a shit show. And I'm gonna bring this point up to you because you're in this world, and because of your following and stuff, you're getting invites to festivals and stuff, and you get to go for free, and you get to meet people, and you get invites, and you get brand deals, and you're making money off of this shit. Like it's real life, cold hard cash is getting put into your bank account because you posted pictures of yourself in line dancing videos on the internet. So what's more important, getting some sort of trophy at an event and everybody in the line dance can be like, "Oh my God, you won this. Congratulations so much. You're so great and amazing." Or would you rather make money off of social media and be able to go to all these events? For me personally, it's the opposite. It's the videos and going to these events. That's way more worth. It's way more fun experience. I get to be by myself or with Emily, and then sitting around wanting everybody else's approval in this community.
It is a validation thing. Yeah, I do.
I don't need to win a trophy for people to tell me that I'm a good dancer or whether I am or whether I'm not. I don't what does that do for me? It doesn't benefit me in life at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my thing is like I competed for fun. I love it to this day. Like I think competing is a great thing, especially like just if you're passionate about it. But when it comes to kind of like the validation part or like the click part or, stuff like that, I don't have time for it. I don't. And it's one of those things where like no one really knows about my instructing, no one knows about my past, my dance experience, things like that. They only see what they see, and I don't know. It's just a whole weird thing because ultimately there's been times where I've felt like they don't see me as an equal because I'm not doing X, Y, or Z. But I'm like, but okay, here's what is actually happening. Here's what I know. Here's this, that, and the other, the stuff no one talks about. The stuff that I'm texting people about or whatever, in the business.
Hmm.
Um, and so it's like there's been times where I felt like people didn't take me as seriously, but I was like, but I promise you, like not this, I don't want this to sound rude at all, but it's like I promise you, like I'm gonna make a phone call and I'm gonna tell you the right answer,
Yeah.
yes or no. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
It's an
and it's
ego
like
thing.
it is, and but I don't have that ego to where I'm like, no, like I know so and so because that's not how I'm gonna be. It's not who
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I just think the people that put themselves on a pedestal in the dance community, it makes me sick.
It's always been about fun to me.
Mhm.
It's I enjoy it. That's why I've never gone and seeked out and I've had people message me, "Hey, want to collab? How about asking me, hey, how was your day? Where are you from? I would love to
Go
hang
grab
out with
coffee
you,
sometime.
be your
Yeah.
friend and get to know you. I don't want to collaborate with you. I have never made a social media post with anybody who has more followers than me. And not that I wouldn't, but I only would if I have a friendship with you. Like
Yeah.
it's what life is about is friendships, you know. It's cool to catch up with you on a podcast right now, but there's been plenty of times where, you know, you and I have texted each other or we FaceTime each other and we just talk and we've caught up with each
Yeah.
other and we've been genuine friends. And that's what it's about for me. I care more what you think about me than I care what, you know, a judge thinks about me in the line that's coming out. Like, I would rather have your validation or my friend's validation of, hey, you've been a really good friend to me, than be like, okay, I want to be seen as a top dog in, you know, this dance community.
But it was like one of those things where, like, especially with NDF, like meeting other influencers in the dance community, or even just you, I use you as an example. Like, I didn't shove a camera in your face either, like when I met you, because I was like, this isn't what it's about. I'm just glad you're here. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, did we make like fun little dance videos because it was fun? Of course. But it wasn't like I felt pressure, like, oh, will you take a video of me and Dawn or me and Emily? Or like, because like ultimately, like, I wouldn't want someone to do that to me. So I'm not going to do that to you. But also, I don't do that to you because I do see you as a friend and like people that's the hard part about like I said when people do line dancing on TikTok as a job or whatever, and that's their thing, is that they always are like, oh, we should like take a video of us dancing to this. And I'm like, oh, okay, like let me put on my smile or you know what I mean? Like respectfully, I guess,
I get it, and I mean I've been guilty of doing that because again, like it is, and sometimes I do need to film. And fortunately, I've
Right,
had so
right.
much content over the years, and it's not like those things don't happen. But yeah, there are instances where that does happen. That's why I kind of appreciate it more when I did have friends or do have friends who do just record me because they're actually capturing real fun moments versus like, okay, we're gonna do this here and you know do that and yeah, it does take away from the experience. And I have gone months. I probably went 2 or 3 months this year without filming any new content at all, just because, like you said, it's just nice to just go to the bar and just have fun. But then I'm like, okay, I've kind of posted this video X number of times now. It's time to
Yeah.
film some new stuff.
Yeah, but that's the honesty about it.
Yeah,
So
but you try and keep it as fun as much as possible. And um, you know, like I've seen some people recently talking about the whole line dance stuff, and it shouldn't be taken so serious and all that. And I'm like, okay, like I'm with you. I'm with you. Like
yeah,
on the part that it should be fun, but at the same time, if you're going to host a competition and you are going to tell somebody we're doing this dance and this choreography, then I want to see that dance done.
yeah. And let this be the last thing that I want people to take away from this whole session. I like there's enough room in Nashville. There's enough room in California, Florida, wherever, Arizona. There's enough room for business. People want to step on people's toes so badly here. Like people are like, oh, well, you've got Urban Cowboy, you've got Standard Western, you've got, whoever. And it's like, can we all not just live in harmony? Like, I don't get that. I understand it's competition for business. I get that from a business standpoint.
Yeah.
I know. But it's like, you can't be mad at so and so when they're doing good. Because what is it? You need to focus on you and what you are doing and how you can make you better.
Yeah.
Like you be the best version of yourself, then you wouldn't have to worry about so and so on the street over doing what they're doing, taking
Hmm.
clients away or taking business away from you. It's like, no, like do better. Like that should be your motivation. And I think it's so silly that people just want to hate on other businesses that are trying to, do line dancing or country swing or whatever. It's like, well, we were been doing this for you. I don't give a crap how long you've been doing it for, okay? A person's passionate about this. They made a business and they have, their people, their niche, da da da. Let them have it,
Yeah.
because Nashville again is a very big place. But it's also a small pond as well, obviously in
Yeah.
the line dance community. But places like California, you have a million line dance groups and people like instructing and stuff. But it's like no one should ever be stepping on each other's toes for
Yeah.
business. I think it's ridiculous. I think, in fact, if y'all came together every once in a while to have one big freaking line dance party, we would all live in harmony and it would be a great
Oh,
experience for everybody. But you just want to hate on each other just because for business purposes, and I think it's ridiculous.
yeah. Well, and that goes for me too in talking about some of these people over the last few years who have started their own companies and are teaching and all that. I'm gonna be honest, I necessarily do not completely agree with their teaching style, but that's me personally. If other
Yeah,
people feel like they're getting something out of it and they enjoy it, um, great. Like
yeah,
I encourage everybody to go dance. But it does just irk me when
you're right.
if you don't understand what a quick and a slow is, you're not dancing to a certain timing. And I also want to be clear, is does a very small section. It's a very small section of people who do that. Because like I said, I've met people from California, Texas, um, Arizona, Florida, everywhere. By and large, 99% of these people have all been wildly nice and just want to have fun. So I don't want it to seem like when we're talking about some of this that um that it's half toxic and half great. By and large, it's a really fun thing to do. And I just go out and meet people because you never know what opportunity is going to come your way.
Yeah, because they're all connected like music videos too as well. But I will say I saw this one company, I'm not gonna say who, but I saw a reel or TikTok of them and they said 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I said, and 9, 10. I said, what is 9, 10? And it was line dancing. And I literally, I honestly, I first of all I cackled because I was just like, I don't know where they got 9, 10 from. I was like, is that was the stuff she said? I was like, what stuff she says that? It's like, but it kind of goes to what you said, like know what you're talking about when you're teaching and just stuff
I mean, we
stuff
saw a
like that.
video where this people were teaching a line dance online and they're like, this is how we do it in our bar and this dance was choreographed by so and so, but these steps are different. And I'm like, then you're not teaching the choreography. You're teaching
Yeah,
a variation of the dance that somebody in your bar just came up with.
yeah,
So really you're kind of almost plagiarizing, but
yeah,
oh well, is what it is.
yeah.
All right, well,
But
thank you for coming to our TED Talk, everybody.
yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah, it's 35 minutes. Emily texted me 22 minutes ago. Are you still on the call? Yes, she is ready to watch Dancing with the Stars. But hey, at least I get to fast forward through the commercials now.
Yeah. I get to go do my book club.
Oh,
So
have
yeah,
fun with that. It's almost my bedtime.
yeah, it's pretty late here too. So,
All right.
but
Well, thank you so much for coming on. It was great to catch up with you as always. Wish you and Wes nothing but the best. So excited for you to get married, and hopefully we will see you soon. Would love for you guys to make a trip down here.
yes, yes, yes.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for having me and catching up. I had a good time.
You too. We'll talk soon.
Okay.